So the next day, what happens is he walks up to me and he shows me his gun. He goes, "I appreciate you not getting them arrested. You'll never see us again."
Welcome to the Michigan Real Estate Investor Network podcast, hashtag the network. This is episode 6, brought to you by Noel Selewski Insurance Agency.
We're coming at you today from Michigan Real Estate Investor Network, better known as the network. We're going to bring you some great information today. One of our special guests is Rocky here. We're going to bring about what's going on with his life and what he's been doing. And we got Paul Jones, we got Erika, and myself, Jeff. And we're going to start this off today, and you're going to learn a little bit. Listen to catch the nuggets, guys. Everybody's got a nugget. Listen to them. All right, let's get going. Erika, take it over.
All right, so I had a great week, actually a really great month, and it was actually partly thanks to you. So, but I found out some really interesting things about you when we got to meet up at one of those open houses for a real estate company, and let's start with the art. So where did that come from?
The art gallery?
Yeah.
So I'm always looking for different investments. I ended up just searching through Craigslist, funny enough. And I found a guy that had his share of dealing with Birmingham public and the art market. And he wanted to sell. So he was saying 30 grand. I offered him 14 grand. He sold the business and it worked, and I ended up buying the building in Birmingham because, they were trying to rip me off on rent. So everything worked out pretty well, but unfortunately last year I had to shut it down. Sales were kind of going down steadily over the last 3-4 years. So I said, take my money and run.
So were you an experienced art guy?
No.
No?
No.
So this was just like a...
Not by any means. I immerse myself in everything I do, though. So I learned everything about gilded frames because that was the heavy portion of our business was custom frames. And so we would have people come in with a 14-cent photo from Walgreens and they would spend $4 grand, framing it. So, yeah.
So the ROI was good on that one, huh?
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. While it lasted, art.com and All Posters, these kind of places offer framing for like $0 to nothing. It's just ridiculous. And you can return it if you don't like the color. I couldn't compete with that.
No, I get that. Yeah. But as far as real estate investing goes, where did you go from there?
So I bought my first hotel in 2007, and it was kind of like an all-in type of thing. I had literally just what I had in my bank account, put all that down on the property, and couldn't afford to hire anybody for the first couple of years. It was really tough times, cleaning the toilets, 52 rooms, and it was really rough. Having face-offs with pimps, drug dealers, prostitutes. But you got to do what you got to do, right?
Sink or swim.
That's it. So I'd hear it every day. The last owner let us operate out of this place. Well, that's not going to happen anymore,
Well, and again, not your background, right? Nothing with hotels?
Well, Indians are very famous for owning hotels, but no, I had no, previous experience when it came to that. So after I did all that, it ended up being a really tough time for those 3 years. So I got into commercial financing because I had a non-compete from Quicken back in the day. So, yeah.
And so that hotel, the first one that you bought, so it's running well?
Oh, yeah, thank God. There's nothing nearby. There's no tourist attractions. Literally, there's no reason for it to be 100% full all the time, but it's 100% always.
So you have that one with 52 rooms, right?
Yeah.
And then how'd you get the next one?
The next one, about 4 years ago, I ended up coming across, we call them uncles, anybody older in the Indian community. And he wanted to get out of the business. He couldn't handle it anymore. It was too far for him. So ended up negotiating a deal with him and took it over. So that one is next to the airport in Flint, next to Bishop Airport, right in front of GM Stamping. But for some reason, that one's not 100% full always. So it should be vice versa.
I was going to say, you would think that between the two,
Exactly.
that it would be flip-flopped.
Right. So I'm at about a 65% on average occupancy rate, which is great. I mean, anything over usually 40%, you're doing good.
So commercial finance, and that was because of the hotels?
That was because of the non-compete.
Got
and
it.
because I was so broke. There's a new hotel owner.
It's hard to get
Yeah.
started. So did you get a lot of kickback from friends and family when you were talking about buying hotels?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
You're crazy. You need to just stay at Quicken and just, write deals. For me, it was more so doing my own thing. And it was a great opportunity. I was getting in at a great price point, so I couldn't turn it down.
Well, a lot of our real estate investors that are part of our network, they look at multifamilies.
Mhm.
So that's something, but the hotels are something completely on a
Different level,
yeah, it's like its own little beast of
Seriously.
an investment property there.
So the Waterford one, it initially was just maybe 5% was extended stay people that they didn't have the credit to be able to get into an apartment, or they didn't have the money to come up with a lump sum every month for the rent. So I ended up making a really good weekly deal. And now I think it's maybe 50% all weekly. I have some people that have been there since 07.
So it's like a long stay, like an
Yeah.
extended stay,
Yeah.
but even more.
And these are people that make great money. They just, they don't want the hassle of having a house, which I understand. I get it.
Is there housekeepers? 'Cause
Yes.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
sell me too.
Yeah,
I,
most definitely. Cable TV,
Yeah.
your
Get some
utilities are
perks.
included. Yeah, exactly.
They don't have to do anything. Just walk in and shut the door and enjoy their
Exactly.
life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very smart.
so what kind of challenges did you run into that you weren't expecting when you got into the hotel business?
So many.
I know. Well,
Where do I start?
I know you got stories. You got good stories.
The revenue per available room and different metrics that you have to pay attention to. Various people having a do not rent list. That thing is like 4,000 people long now.
Oh, really?
Do not rent list. Oh yeah,
Wow.
over 12 years. Yeah, I swear to God. So I that was one of the things that we were featured in multiple newspapers because of the fact that it was a cancer in the city of Waterford.
Yeah.
And we changed it. We didn't want
You
illegal
rebranded
money.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, people used to say, "Let's go get high at the Highlander." That was the saying over the last
Yeah.
40 years, and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and it invites a certain type of clientele.
yeah, it really does. And those are some of the stigmas that are associated with hotel motels, right? So, dealing with those sketchy people and telling them that you're straight up not going to run this stuff out of my place. It's not going to happen. It was just scary.
Yeah.
Super scary. This 5'6" Indian telling some big dude. It's not good.
And then from there, you actually got into some residential lending, correct?
Correct.
And now you have your own brokerage?
Yeah, in Birmingham, correct.
I'm so excited for you.
Thank
Wow.
you.
Yeah.
You got your feet dipped in a little bit of everything in the real estate world, don't you?
I'm trying.
There you go.
Most
There you
definitely.
go.
Yeah. So if you have time to watch TV, that's time you could be spent, making
Right.
money. That's it.
You
Yeah,
gotta
it's a
work.
great lesson.
That's it.
Great thing right there.
Well, and Paul Jones is a newer investor to us. So what are your thoughts on that? What do you think of the hotel business?
So honestly, I really do love it. Of course, the Airbnb is coming in a lot,
Short-term
and I'm really
rentals.
I'm really liking that. So I'm just really loving the whole multifamily scene as a whole, and hotels just take that to a whole new level. So I respect the business as a whole, running it. And you say that when you first started out, you had to run it yourself, doing the
I did it the wrong way, to be honest with you guys. You're not supposed to just jump into such a large property. You're supposed to jump into like a 12 unit, and usually you can get them for a really good price point, small down payment, negotiated on land contract most of the time. A lot of those people own it free and clear. I didn't do that. I got a little bit, crazy.
Right.
So a 12 unit, I mean, think about it. You can get in some of these on Michigan Avenue. They're selling for $300,000. You tell them, hey, I'll give you $30,000. I'll pay you off within 3 years, or refinance you
Right.
quickly. Hey, if I refinance you less than that amount of time, will you give me 20 grand off at the end? Take 20 grand more off. It works. These people don't really get presented with these unique, financing options.
And that's one thing that I'm really admiring is that the fact that you can become so creative in real estate right now. Presenting certain deals, it's like there's no way that you don't have the opportunity to jump into real estate because there's just so many opportunities with these creative deals.
Absolutely.
Now, you said that a lot of them will take seller financing, you're saying, on the smaller hotels and stuff like that. A lot of them
own them free and clear.
And they've owned them for years. A lot of them are family things, been owning them for years and stuff.
And a lot of these guys, their kids are doctors or whatnot.
Yeah.
And, they're like, Mom, Dad, come live with us. You should be tired of the lifestyle. And they never, ever had it in their head where we can hire somebody to sit here and take care of everything. They wanted to be there themselves.
Old school.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's real good. So you bought this one on land contract, the one that both of them, you did both on land contract right now. Are you going to finance them out, or what?
One was
one
refinanced through Clarkson State Bank. They were awesome. They helped with the whole SBA program. And then the other one, I refinanced just recently, and I negotiated more money off. So.
Oh, there you go. That's real good. So you can take them, you can get into them for a lower cost.
Yep.
With seller finance, and then eventually you can. Now, did you pull any money out of them? Can you do that like you can on single family homes or like a duplex? Can you pull equity out of them? You can cash out of them?
Yeah, but I mean, it's not preferable. The rates are ridiculous. And
Okay. So it's not advantageous to pull any money out.
No.
Okay.
Hopefully the business is generating enough cash where you can just kind of.
Okay. Now that makes sense. And if it really don't make, any sense to pull out big cash, or you can buy something else, just keep it going, keep it down low so you can keep all the money coming in.
Oh, definitely. Most definitely.
Okay, so are you saying that the rates from the seller will be lower than the ones you would get from the bank?
Depends on how much down payment you're given.
Okay.
But if you're a good negotiator, you can negotiate both. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm taking it you're negotiating the way you said that. It's like, hey, I got this.
I am Indian, okay? I was born this way.
So what's next for you? Are you looking to do more hotels? Are you looking to get into something different?
Or you're just getting into I'm always paying attention to different businesses for sale and stuff like that. But as of right now, like I went to check out a Subway yesterday that was for sale. I was like, hey,
why not?
Why not? Yeah, numbers are good, but you also have to have the time. I mean, you can make the excuse in your head where I'm just going to stick somebody there, pay them good hourly, but you can't trust anybody. You got to handle it yourself.
Right. And those two hotels, did they come? Well, I know like with the first one, you couldn't afford the staff for a while, but the other one, I mean, was it kind of a walk-in ready turnkey project?
Yeah. Well, I mean, in the last 4 years, I've gone through 5 managers. So it came ready with employees kind of, but they don't always work. They're not long term. It takes a while before you find those people.
Yeah. Oh, and that's a challenge for just about any business right now. That's one of the biggest complaints I hear on a regular basis. That's one of my biggest complaints. This was not what I expected my biggest challenge to be, was staffing, and it really turned out to be something that daily you're concerned about and you're looking at. And if you bring in more business, if your hotel isn't, at 65%, it's at also 90%. Are you short staffed? And how long does that last? There's so many variables and questions on a daily basis.
Yeah, because it changes from day to day.
Seasonal as well?
Yeah, so summer is busy. We get, different things like, what is that thing called? The Marijuana Fest or Bud Fest? I don't know, something like that. High Time sponsor some event where a bunch of stoners get together in Clio, Michigan. And those are the best clients because they come in, they just sleep, they get up early, and they go to the event. The room is clean, untouched. But we're 100% booked in Flint because of that event. And then there's, Baker College graduation, University of Michigan Flint graduation. So all those events bring a lot of people in. But winter's kind of, dull.
Well, Michigan's a little dull right in that area during the winter as well.
Seriously.
So.
Nobody wants to come to Michigan in the winter.
I hope not. Now, do you advertise for them? You're not on like Booking.com?
Oh yeah.
So you're on all them kind of websites.
So
too.
I mean, with one of them, the Flint one, you have to. if you're next to the airport, it makes sense to sign up with the OTAs, online travel agencies like
Okay.
Booking.com, Expedia. Hotwire is more of like a flash sale site.
Okay.
So like literally I'll go on there at the end of the night. If I have a certain amount of rooms left, I will put a flash sale on them, like $40. So something's better than nothing.
Yeah.
So,
Put some bodies in it. Yeah, sure.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
yeah, but they take advantage of you.
Do they?
They're like 19% on average commission. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's a big number.
Wow, yeah, that's big money. You wouldn't think it'd be that much. That's high.
And that's why I like non-flag hotels, because unless you're a Hampton Inn or a Hilton, it doesn't make sense to sign up with, an Econo Lodge or something like that, because you're just paying a massive amount of commissions out, you know what I mean, to them, or whatever, licensing and all that stuff. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it. But a Hampton Inn.
Well, I was
worth
going
it.
to say, I mean, if it's not a franchise or independently owned and operated hotels, right? So if you try to do a franchise, like a Subway, is it set up and structured differently?
Yeah.
So you have like your franchise fees and everything else that goes along with that?
And I had an opportunity to buy a 7-Eleven not too long ago, and I backed up because just the franchise fees are ridiculous. You get in at a low price point, but that's where they get you. So
Got it.
Suck you in on that pretty thing. Oh,
Oh,
you
yeah.
get in for this, but we're going to take your second-born child. Put you in
Exactly.
there. Yeah, that definitely isn't going to work.
Yeah.
No, but that now, if you ever looked at the model, because I know that some guys are doing it, like I know they're doing it in Florida. I don't know if it'd work in Michigan, where they take the hotel rooms and they do them really, really nice. And they're usually in smaller ones like you have, more
boutique.
mom and pop and Airbnb them.
Yeah. So those are tough.
Them are tough. They are. Okay.
Yeah. But boutique hotels, man, they make so much money. Like I just went out to Boston. We looked at a boutique hotel out there. I just wanted to see what they were like.
Yeah.
And my gosh, it was gorgeous.
Really?
Just the furniture alone must have cost about $4,000 or $5,000 in that room.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're really decking them out 100%. Okay.
Each one is very different themed from the other rooms. Like it's really cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they're high book rates when you get it. But of course, I'm sure that you got to have it in the right location.
You
Like
hit it on the dot.
Flint across in the GM plan
They're
might
not-
not be a
nobody's-
good boutique hotel.
It's
Those
fine.
rooms sit empty.
It's by the airport. You would think that this would be like a gold mine right there at
Yeah.
the airport, but
You would think so, but the problem is that there's a Southwest hub there, but Southwest flights are still so expensive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're not seeing the traffic that they should be seeing out of that airport. They got to make a lot of changes. But it is nice. I mean, comparatively to other
Well,
small-
yeah. I mean, it's a great airport to travel out of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
most
I just
definitely.
love going out of there. Park
you-
right next to your airport and
the
go.
parking is the best.
It
in
is.
Flint.
Mm. So you said that like in the one, your location in Waterford, you said you do a lot of weekly rentals and stuff like that. Does that flow through in usually like Flint or in other locations? What do you see? Is that a big trend?
Yes, everywhere. Now a lot of hotel owners are trying to, or I should say non-flag hotel owners are trying to transition and take advantage of that business. Obviously, daily rates pay way more.
Yeah. But it's steady money when you do the weekly rates. Because
100%.
to them people, what is the percentage, just to get in a little bit of numbers so people kind of understand, what is the percentage of people that do weeklies that stay long term?
Out of my weeklies, I would say probably 40% of the weeklies, they stay long term.
They stay long term.
Yeah.
So that
More than a
becomes a
month.
constant. You can, more of a predictable income coming in. Even if it's less,
Most
you can
definitely.
count on that money coming
Yep.
in all the time.
100%. Yeah.
Okay. That's very interesting.
So if I can ask, what got you more towards the hotel side of things instead of, going into residential or things such as that?
Just the opportunity came up, and I'd heard about a lot of family members and stuff like that getting into the hotel industry over so many years, right?
Right.
So, and I saw that they were driving Porsches and stuff, and I was young, and
Like, oh, there must be something to this.
exactly. This doesn't sound bad. Little did I know.
Okay. Oh,
But you made it work enough to open up a second or purchase a second. So
Well, the second one price point was good, Otherwise, I don't think I would have done it. Yeah.
Are you looking for more?
No.
okay.
No,
I'm
two's
done.
Two's
enough.
enough.
You're going to venture on to other now.
Two
Well-
is enough.
when we talked last time, you told me a few stories about your Waterford property.
Yeah.
You want to tell a story?
Yeah. So I mean, there's many times where Oh my gosh. Like I had transvestite hookers offering me like goodies, what they called it, to come inside the office. And I'm like, no, you can't come in. Like they're like, oh, other hotel owners let us come in. I'm like, no, you're not coming inside this room. I've had face off with one drug dealer where he's showing me his gun, and the night before his two girls were bothering me in the office, and I knew that they were his drug dealers and they were his prostitutes.
Right.
So I made a call to the local police department, and they're like, okay, it's going to be a little bit before we can get out there. I said, okay. So the next day, what happens is he walks up to me and he shows me his gun. He goes, I appreciate you not getting them arrested. You'll never see us again. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. This guy would have stomped a foothold through me. I mean, just scary, dude. I've seen anything you can imagine. I've walked into suicides. I found dead bodies, overdoses, and that's not specific to Waterford. I have a friend who's a GM at the Hilton in Vegas, and he sees the same kind of stuff. Because people don't want to do it at home and subject their loved ones to that kind of stuff, so they'll go to a hotel, motel. You know,
Yeah.
it is what it is. So it's not an easy money scheme, right? Like I've seen stuff that I don't wish upon anybody, but you got to be strong, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. It's a little different than, you know, a cute little rental in Berkeley or something. You know?
Little different world.
Yeah.
Much different. I mean, it's kind of morbid, but I remember talking to this one guy. He was an aeronautical engineer, phenomenal guy. I mean, he would bring like a lot of stuff from his job and all that, and give them to me and tell me to give them to my nephew and niece, like binoculars and whatnot. So one day I'm there and my employee and I are talking, and we see this redhead walk out of the room. She's about 6'2", without heels, and she's wearing heels too. I'm like, Dave, does he have a new girlfriend? He goes, no, that's him. I'm like, what do you mean? No, that's him. Turns out that the reason he had got a divorce lately, that's who he was. Nothing wrong with that. And she didn't accept him for who he was. And he was going through the divorce all because of the cross-dressing and stuff like that. A week later, the poor guy, I walk into his room to find out when he was going to pay the rent. I mean, I knocked, hello, and then I opened the door a little bit, and he's right there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sad.
So the things that you don't think about
Mm-hmm.
when you're thinking, I'd buy a hotel, you know, then you've got.
Oh, yeah. No, you don't
Yeah,
want
that's
that.
made me change because I've actually looked into them before.
See?
So definitely.
See the lessons learned.
No.
Yeah. You got to keep track of bed sheets, because if they're asking for too many bed sheets and they're that stupid, they're cooking meth or filtering meth or filtering or something like that. You know what I mean? You have to watch out for chore boy in the carpet. There's copper scrubbing pads because they use that as a, these are all things that you learn. And now I don't see none of that because it takes about a year and a half. And then you start cycling the good people in. And now I have families. There's school buses that actually come into Waterford to pick up the kids. There's that many like families there.
Wow.
And I pride myself on that. I love it. So
it took a lot of work to turn it around and get it to really work for you.
Most definitely.
Yeah, and so, well, now with your own brokerage, right? So, are you able to help investors at all through that?
Most definitely.
So, tell me a little bit about maybe a program that would work for some of our real estate
So,
investors.
I mean, the beautiful thing about commercial financing is every lender is very niche specific. So, there's some that just specialize mainly in hospitality, restaurants, SBA, 7A. Like, there's so many awesome programs. So, if you have a special need, there's usually a lender for it, no matter what. I just did a 26-room hotel just recently in Cadillac, Michigan, and it was really easy. I mean, there was no issues. I mean, obviously, it's not going to close in 17 days like my residential loans do, but it still closes quicker than they used to back in the day.
So apartment buildings seem to be kind of a trend right now. Is that something that you're able to help with?
Yeah, most definitely. So, obviously there's going to be different things that keep them from qualifying. Like if the price per door is too low, like there was one that came to us recently and they were like, well, hey, it's like, I think it was 70 unit and the price per door is coming out to like 30 grand. It needed a lot of work.
Yeah, so that doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, it's not going to make a lot. So it's going to be tough to appraise. It's going to be tough to do. Most of those deals, you're going to buy cash and then refinance it, once the work is done, kind of thing.
So can they purchase in an LLC or in their corporation?
Most definitely.
So because
yeah.
that seems to be a challenge with a lot of the residential lenders,
Yes.
is they don't want to do that. So this part is different.
Yep.
So is there
100%.
minimum loan amounts? Are there restrictions
It's
on?
all dependent upon the lender. Yeah. I mean, I got a Excel spreadsheet of probably about 500, 540, like around there, lenders, just based on different niches and stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Does the process kind of work the same way? I mean, tax returns and
Oh, yeah.
yeah, maybe even
yeah.
a little more in depth,
Yeah.
because usually those are bigger price points.
Yes, most definitely. Oh, yeah. They're going to do a full in-depth underwriting process. And that's why it takes, 3 to 6 months sometimes to get a loan closed, commercial loan.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's a lot of work that goes into it. Yeah.
It's been very interesting, your journey and what you found and all the lessons that you learned. One of the things that we like to talk about is, if there's like a special, I don't know how to say it, but a nugget that you could give, or maybe books that you read or podcasts you listen to. Is there anything that kind of keeps you going on a daily basis?
I just love reading. I won't go to sleep until I read at least something, I'm constantly listening to different audiobooks throughout the day. I love to meet with other business owners. I think that was the main thing that got me to where I'm at. And mind you, I'm nothing. I mean, I want to be even more of a presence in this industry, but I wouldn't be where I'm at without meeting with those people, taking those nuggets, seeing their work ethic. Oh my gosh. Some of these people, like Matt Ishbia, CEO of UWM, he wakes up 2 a.m. Anthony Casa, chairman of AIM, 2 a.m. They're at the office at 4 a.m. nonstop. Last ones to leave, first ones to get there. So you meet with those people, and it kind of just gives you that boost that you need to just be like, my problems aren't that bad. Let me get this going.
Yeah, sets it in perspective, doesn't it?
Oh
It's
my
like,
gosh.
oh wow, this guy's doing that. But that's where you got to look at. You're trying to build a vision of where you're trying to go.
Yep.
It doesn't come free. It doesn't come easy.
Oh my
You
gosh.
got to put the work in. You've got to strive to get it.
Mhm.
And that's the guys, like you said, these other gentlemen you just mentioned. Those are the ones that are getting their vision, getting their dream, because they're pushing towards it.
Yep.
And that's a big key that I think that's a very good nugget about what people need to really remember.
Mhm.
None of this stuff is push a button, sit on autopilot. It's
None
work
of it.
and work hard.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And you guys know there's so many different aspects to business that you got to stay on top of.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to worry about those things for you. There is no autopilot mode, right?
No.
So
No.
Right.
I mean, if you're going to work it, you're all in, or else it's not going to, I think that's why so many businesses fail. And one of the common things people say to me is, you own your own business, so you don't have to go in. You don't have a boss to call into. And it's like, you
I've
don't
heard that so many
understand.
times, yeah.
I need to be there. I need to be there more than everybody else needs
Yeah,
to be there.
It's ownership, yeah.
And if you're not out doing what you're doing to bring in the business, your employees aren't going to have a job. So, it's really, someone's got to be the go-getter.
And it's nothing against the employees either. What it is
We need employees.
Exactly. But it's in their scope of work, right? So their scope of work is to do their job. It's not to have ownership over everything that's going on in the business.
They don't want to be on call
No.
at 2 a.m. to get a
No.
phone call. I mean,
I've gotten emails from you at God knows what hours,
I know,
in the
shame.
weekend. Like I love it. No, that's dedication.
you have to, good clients deserve good attention.
love it.
Right? So, to make them happy, to make it all work. If you're working, I'm working. And
Yep.
that's kind of, but I'm work driven. Not everybody
Same
else
here.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hard to find, somebody that's truly work driven that
Ugh.
wants to do it, wants to become successful, or have that dream when you get older.
Yeah,
You
I feel it's a mindset shift for anybody. Just coming into it, you can't really see it as just doing something.
No.
It's just off of will to get to
Yeah.
will and desire just to get to where you want to be. That a lot of people don't realize that you're willing to get up at a certain amount of time. They're getting up at 2:30. I wish I could get up at 2:30. I get up more around like 5, 6, but either way, whatever you're doing, you're getting up earlier and going to sleep later. That's one thing that a lot of people don't realize going into certain things.
Mm-hmm.
The will and desire to actually get up and do, read a book about whatever you're trying to learn more about.
Yeah, right now I'm reading Never Split the Difference.
Never Split the
Awesome
Difference.
book.
That is on my wish list.
Get it.
Thrift books, I have a very long wish list. I just got done reading Deep Work.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one book that I'm really admiring. That's in my top 3 now, most definitely.
Yeah, that usually rotates about every third book. Oh, that's one of my top books. Oh, that's one of my top books. Yeah.
So what does a typical day look like for you?
Every day is so different.
Is that part of the appeal?
It's chaos. Yeah, it's absolute chaos.
There's something funny. Like for me at the end of the month, and it's so crazy, and you get through it. I mean, it's like a rush. It's like a drug, you
Sure
know?
is.
So, I mean, but I don't do the same thing every day, which
No.
is really nice. I mean, that's definitely.
Otherwise, it would just get monotonous and
Yeah. Yeah. So every day's different.
Every
but-
day is different.
So are you checking on the hotels? What are you doing?
Yeah. So luckily, I don't have to do that constantly. So I don't have to be there physically. But every other day or every couple days, I'll go there and take care of what I have to take care of. I have, front desk software that I can look at the numbers, see, what the RevPAR was, see what the average daily rent was, the ADR. I can look at all that. Make sure that whatever the amount was from the last night, I got deposited the next morning. So I try to keep a cycle of doing that. But just the broker just kind of kept me busy, growing it, adding more people on. So
Were you mentored or coached or trained for the lending portion? Because I know a mutual client of mine.
Mo and Uncle, yeah.
Yeah.
So for the residential side, he was very instrumental. He's amazing. There should be more people like him in the world. He's so patient. He was great. Because sometimes just what you do on the commercial side doesn't always translate to residential. There's so many different aspects, right?
Okay.
And vice versa.
So, I mean, did you approach him to kind of coach you and teach you the ropes on that?
So
or?
yeah, he also goes to the same temple,
Mhm.
and we know each other through there. He's good friends with my father. So yeah, it just kind of came up in conversation, kind of thing.
It's kind of nice when you can find people
Oh my God,
that will share your dream or be encouraging of the things that you want to do.
Yeah.
We find that a lot of friends and family are like, run, don't walk, get away from this stuff.
Seriously.
And you need people that will help feed that for you and not scare you off from it.
Yeah, and he's an OG in the lending community.
He's wonderful.
He's awesome.
I like him a lot.
Yeah, and he's doing this because that's all he knows. Like he's financially set. He's not hurting for money, but he's like, yeah, this is what I know. I'm gonna do it. And I love people like that because it actually makes him feel good to see somebody get into a house, after they've been saving and scrounging.
Right.
Yeah, it's a rewarding situation.
Great feeling.
So you're doing both residential and commercial.
Yeah.
Which one do you prefer?
I would say now residential.
Residential. Is it a lot? It's a lot easier.
It's a lot easier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Paydays are a little quicker.
Yeah, but you get paid way more on a commercial deal.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, I mean, believe it or not, a lot of my commercial deals come from other loan officers.
Oh, okay.
So
They don't
because
deal with it.
They don't know how to do it.
Oh, okay.
Or they don't need the headache. I mean, they're doing such great volume in the residential side that
They don't want it.
no.
Well, that's good for you.
It's great.
There
And
you go.
It's phenomenal. And there's a lot of different outlets that, let's say I'm not able to give it the full dedication I need to, I can give it to another loan officer, and you can get a kickback on a commercial deal. It's illegal and against RESPA on a residential deal.
Oh, really?
So that's a
Okay.
huge no-no. But on commercial, yeah, you can get a referral fee or something like that. As long as I know that they're going to take great care of that client, and I'll still be involved on collecting documents and,
Yeah, you still help out, but yeah, no, that's actually, it's a good revenue to even make money that way, and you're not all the way into it,
Yep. Yeah.
But no, that's real good, real good. So let me ask you something. Out of your business now, when you started out, was you just focused on commercial when you started?
Yeah.
And now you've moved in more residential. Which one are you doing more now? You doing more of the commercial?
Definitely more residential.
You're doing more residential with the hot boom right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And commercials, I mean, like commercial deals, maybe one every month or every couple months or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is still good. I mean, there's a lot less commercial deals going on than there is residential. I mean, residential is
Correct.
a whole bunch daily, especially now.
Yeah. And the good thing about commercial is it's not a steep drop if a recession comes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People are still buying businesses. People are still, depending on what sector. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it's steady business.
Yeah.
It's going to be there for a while.
refinancing, people need to pull money out or whatnot. I mean,
Yeah. No, that's real good.
So, what would be your best piece of advice for someone that's going in and thinking about doing a commercial deal?
Make sure you know everything about that industry. Immerse yourself. Don't what I did doesn't work for everybody. And make sure that you collect all the numbers. Go through it with a licensed professional. Get the CPA docs up front. Sign whatever you have to sign. NDA, that's not a big deal. But oftentimes people are just taking people's word for it and some just made up docs and trying to get, I can't tell you how many deals got stopped mid-process because the numbers didn't make sense.
Well, and not everybody knows how to calculate.
Correct.
Or take in all the factors.
Yeah. Very
and
true.
I wouldn't know where to start with a hotel. I mean, I could tell you with a residential home or something, but I wouldn't even know where to start.
Yeah, that's a whole different ball game. Any commercial compared to residential is a whole different ball game. You gotta get all sorts of certifications. You gotta get the land checked if it's a certain deal to make sure there's no, contamination or nothing else like that. It's a whole different ball game out there for that.
Yeah. Environmental and everything.
Oh yeah.
It's expensive.
Well, and you're buying a business, so the insurance things are different, payroll that you have to worry about. I mean, there's a lot more to it than even say an apartment building, you know?
Yeah.
So it's
An apartment building too. I mean, I've had people tell me that, they just looked through half of the rooms and the other ones were occupied, so they didn't bother going in there. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, you don't know what's going on in that behind door number 3.
Those ones you really have to check out, the ones that are occupied, So, immerse yourself into whatever you get into. Learn it to the umpteenth degree. Like it's essential. I still learn new stuff every day, and obviously I'm a new broker, right? But I'm trying to make it so that, there's a big broker movement, that.
Yep.
And, we're trying to get back up to 50% market share, back to what it was pre-recession. And there's so many different aspects of growing the brokerage that weren't there before necessarily. You know what I mean? Now we're providing benefits, we're providing 401k. So I'm seeing what other guys are doing really well, and I'm taking it by the throat. I want to make it happen too. If they can do it, I can do it. Why not?
Oh, and that's it. But you have to be one of those people that are work driven, because I can offer people, commission to bring some deals in or do, and nobody does it.
Nope.
It's amazing. They want to make more money. You give them an avenue to do it, and it takes that certain kind of somebody to take it and run with it.
That's it.
There's a lot of people that are just 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And that's fine too, no complaints there. But you got to put in the work if you want long-term results.
The autonomy.
I always, from a young age, I just always wanted to be successful. I just always wanted there to be some secret path that other people didn't know about. And there's no such thing. But when you're young, you believe it, right? I developed a website. It was called cigarettelane.com when I was like 16. And I would, it was before anybody knew about drop shipping. And I would send the dropship order to Sweden. I think it was Sweden or Switzerland. And they would send these cartons of cigarettes straight to the person who ordered it. So it was literally the first kind of drop shipping at the time. And these cartons were like, I think maybe $12. And I was selling them for $25.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Mhm.
So, and I didn't have to house them. I didn't have to take inventory. I made so much money at that business, and I wasn't even old enough to smoke. And then what happened was they started adding tax stamps to the bottom, and I got like cease and desist letters and stuff like that from the government, and then people's cartons were getting confiscated because they were ordering 10 cartons at a time.
Yeah.
And
Actually, I remember something about that.
Yeah.
Everyone was like buying them overseas.
Yep.
I remember that.
Yep. Same brand, same everything. So I was like, let me take advantage of this. And it worked. But
And I did the same thing with bubble gum when I was a kid, right?
Yeah.
So you go to the store, you pay, 50 cents for the pack, and then you sell each piece for a quarter to your
Yeah,
friends.
yeah.
I mean, so it was in your blood to begin with. If you were looking at that, you were making more money than me and my bubble gum. But I need to think on a bigger scale.
Quite a bit more, but
Yeah,
that's a good living there.
Oh.
That was real good.
I mean, there's so many hacks to make money,
Really?
Just so many hacks. I used to go to thrift shops and I would get the Gucci suits and Armani suits, old ones that people didn't want anymore, right? It's on the rack and on the 50% off days. And I would buy them for like $10. And then I would get them tailored to whatever like the most common size was. I think it was like most common size was 36 waist. And I think it was a 42 jacket. And I would sell it on eBay and I would sell it for like 10 to 15 times what I bought it for. And people are like, it's a Gucci suit. It's a vintage Gucci suit. I would put that too. Vintage Gucci.
Keyword.
That's right. And it worked. There's so many ways. And I mean, just translate it to real estate. Think about how many other ways there are.
No, it's creative thinking, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, and if you were always kind of business minded, you found the right spot.
Sounds like
so.
he
Your
did.
business
Yeah,
mind.
sounds like he's got it going. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your business minded. You're always going to find something.
I hope.
There's just so many ways.
I
It's
hope.
ridiculous.
Well, it's a mindset. Not everybody has that, though. And it's hard to break
true.
bad old habits.
It is.
So,
It is. Yeah.
Very true.
So what about you, Paul? What is in your future? What are you working on right now?
So right now, I was talking to Jeff about this right before. I'm really looking for a duplex, triplex, or a quad, but I got my mind set on a triplex right now that
Nice.
I'm working on. So hopefully I can get that. Going to see it either today or Monday. Hopefully I can get that. But another thing I'm really looking for a quad that I can live in. But again, I'm looking towards seller financing and bringing in an investor for it to bring in for the capital.
Nice.
And I want to live in one unit, rent out the other three, have the investor getting their capital, getting their return on their investment, and then plus me making about $100 or $200 a month.
Okay.
That's just my big dream right now, and that's what I'm really looking
Make it
forward to.
happen, man.
Yeah, looking every day, always on the marketplace, Facebook, Craigslist, Zillow, everything. Anywhere I'm asking people to put me on their buyers list, I'm
Look
looking for it all.
everywhere. Yeah.
I'm looking everywhere for it. So
That's what you got to do.
Just-
Start with baby steps.
right,
Look at the first run. One of my first mentors told me, and it came true because I always try to jump to run 10. Look at the first run. Then when you get to the first run, look at the next and the next. Forget 10. You'll get to 10.
right.
But you got to get to 1 first.
Right.
Hit 1, hit 2, hit 3. You might be able to skip 4 and 5, but you got to get 1 first.
Right.
And once you get there, it'll start rolling.
And how old are you?
I'm 18.
Oh my
Isn't that
gosh.
amazing?
Yeah.
He just graduated high school,
You're 18.
Yeah. So just
I love it.
right?
I love it.
Right?
Got a good life ahead of him. Good life ahead of him. He don't even realize it yet. He don't even think about
Yeah.
it yet. He's got a good life ahead of him.
I wish I started at 18.
Same here.
Right?
Yeah, especially in real estate. Jeez.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Do your thing, man.
Trying, but
The
you
worst
know,
people can say, worst thing people can say to you is no.
Yeah, I realized that.
Spit some
I'm
offers at them. You know.
Yeah. So it's just like if I just throw out more offers, eventually
That's it.
something's going to get accepted. If I'm throwing
Yeah.
out numbers that are agreed upon, that are agreeable, that don't go again, that don't disrespect anybody, then
Yeah, you never want to offend somebody.
Yeah.
You know, but
listed for 120. Like I need 30. Can I get this
Yeah.
for 30,000? It's like what?
they're like, you can get a knuckle sandwich. That's what you can get.
But yeah, and of course, just of course got the wholesaling business that I'm trying to build too. But of course the leads from the wholesale for me, of course I'm trying to pick out the good ones.
Of course.
And of course trying to do either seller financing or bring in another investor for the property.
Okay.
So 'cause I'm trying to spend as little money as possible,
Sure.
but make as many people happy as possible at the same time.
Are you a licensed agent too?
No.
Okay.
But-
are you thinking about?
Yeah,
Good.
of course, thinking about it.
Good.
Yeah, and just bringing in passive investors who want to make some money while they're
Most
with
definitely.
a bit of extra money they got lying around, and people always are trying to sell their homes. So
Yeah, most definitely.
just trying to make as many people happy as possible while spending as little money as possible.
Definitely.
Got nothing wrong with that now.
Well, and when you're talking to people, they might not be ready today,
Right.
but if you build a nice relationship with them, you never
Yeah.
know. I mean, there's people that I knew for 10 years before they used my title company.
Right.
I mean,
Sure.
it's all about timing.
Most definitely.
It's true. Don't rush anything, and,
Right.
and they'll come around.
Yeah, be in it for the long game.
Yeah. Of course, just trying to stay consistent. And plus, I got I'm a hard money lender too. So, of course, trying to build that business too. Whoever is looking to invest in things can come to me. So that's another thing I'm trying to incorporate. I'm trying to get everything to revolve around one thing. So say, for instance, I do find a deal that is over 50,000. People can also come to me and get their higher interest loans before they refinance and get the lower interest. But either way, they're helping me, I'm helping them, and then we're also helping somebody else, and we're helping the community as a whole. So, just trying to get everything to revolve around one.
Gotcha.
So.
Yeah, most definitely.
Smart attitude.
I was going to say,
Smart
that
way
was
to do
very
it,
well said, Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about you, Jeff? Where are you at?
Well, now, a lot of people know I finally got done with the nightmare of a flip there. We got that done. Now we're moving on to doing what I truly love is we're going to do a lot more wholesaling and hoteling and moving hard into the city of Detroit now. And going to really, really take a big run at that. Got some stuff coming up that we'll probably announce here coming up pretty soon. Some meetups, some other stuff, some individual podcasts is coming up. And moving forward, really, what I want to do and move hard into it again and do a lot of stuff in Detroit. That's where I'm mainly focused now. And I love Detroit, and that's where we're going to do mainly.
What part of Detroit, if you don't mind me asking?
We'll do it all. I'm not afraid of the east side. A lot of people are scared of the east side.
I love it.
I've made a ton of money on the east side. I think people are missing it because they think the west side's sexy. And yeah, it's sexy, but it's 3 times more money. It's 3 times more money to buy the property.
Is it that much more?
Yeah, you can pick them up. I was picking them up on the east side real cheap, and it was 3 times more on the west side, and it's the same amount of rent.
Really?
Especially for rentals, it's like, okay, money's sexy, not spending it ain't
Exactly.
sexy. Keeping it sexy. So.
Yep.
A lot of people give up on the east side, but I've had a lot of luck over there, and I enjoy it. And, a house is a house. Everybody needs someplace to live. It doesn't matter.
Right.
And that's where we focus all over. I love Southwest Detroit. It's a great area, too.
Okay.
A lot of up-and-coming neighborhoods. That's what people really need to look out for is the areas that are already hot, start looking just a little bit beyond them.
Okay.
Because a lot of people can't afford these neighborhoods. You can't afford, Rosedale and all those. It's
Good
getting
point.
more and more expensive.
Right.
But people still want to live in that vicinity, so they're pushing out. It's like, Detroit's all rebuilding. It's just going to take a while. It's not an overnight process,
Yeah.
and that's
a
part
massive
I'm happy
spread.
with. Yeah, it's huge.
So are you doing more rentals or flips?
In Detroit, we're doing wholesale and hoteling.
Okay.
Haven't did any flips over there. The flips have been out in the suburbs.
Okay.
But over in there, and we're starting to pick up more for rentals. That's what we're looking for now. You got a game plan. You got to figure it out. You're looking at, 4 or 5 hotels or wholesales and keep a couple rentals. Cherry pick them like you was talking about.
Right.
Pick the ones you want to keep and just keep those ones.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
One of my favorite videos, Jeff, was when you were walking through a house in Detroit and you're going room to room. And I would have ran 10 feet in. I would have turned around and left. And you're like, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. And you go down
That means
to the
he's seen some bad stuff.
right? And he goes down in the basement, and his buddy was with him and stepped in water that was probably a foot deep.
Jeez.
And just like, oh, water's clean. It's not sewage. That's an easy fix. I'm like, I would run.
Oh yeah.
And he's just no big deal. He's not scared of it. I would have ran. And
He's that guy that looks everything that could be fixed.
Yeah.
That could be fixed.
that could be
Yes.
That could be fixed.
It's very impressive to me because
Me too.
I couldn't
Yeah.
do that.
Neither could I.
No, it's where the money's at right now. It's where
Really.
the money's at, and you're helping the community. That's a big thing.
I love
too.
it.
That's big.
It is.
Yeah. But it'll all work out.
It always does. It always does.
Yes, it will.
So, any final thoughts, words of wisdom, Jeff?
No, just everybody listen to great people and listen to what they say and what they're doing and look at all avenues. I mean, hotels, he's made some good money at them.
Mm-hmm.
And he's ventured off into other things now. It's gave him an avenue to make money, to spend more money, to do other things he wants to do. Look outside the box, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Don't get closed-minded. It's very important. There's so many avenues. I mean, I would have never thought of an art gallery, especially I would have never thought of an art
Right?
gallery.
Yeah.
But it worked for you.
Oh yeah.
It worked.
Most definitely.
And who knows? You don't ever know where you're going to turn that rock over. And I
most
think that's
definitely.
important.
I made some great friends and clients. I framed all of Bob Seger stuff. I framed all of Eminem stuff. Jack White, like, I still text message with those guys from time to time. So it's like you never know where your life is gonna go. It's just be open to all avenues. That's it. I wouldn't own that building in Birmingham if it wasn't for that art gallery.
Yeah.
It's not open anymore, but at least I still have the building.
Yeah, you still got the building in a great location.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's worth its weight in gold right there, just to be in that, to be down there.
Yeah.
And no, that's great. Wonderful.
Any final thoughts, Paul?
I would just say that this podcast has just really shown the value of hard work and where it can really get you. So I would just say in 2019, and especially coming up in 2020, with everything booming right now, it's just hard work. Being on top of things is really going to put people ahead right now. It's really going to show the difference in, how valid you are, how people can really trust you in the business.
Yeah.
So.
You're 18?
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing? It's just like, is it mind blown?
Yeah.
It's killing me. I got kids older than him. It's like, what did I mess up?
Yeah.
And, well, I appreciate you so much.
No, thank you.
I appreciate you and your business and the opportunities you've presented to me.
I won't take my stuff anywhere else but Michigan Investment Title. Seriously.
That's why I love you.
Love you too. Yeah. They've never let me down. They never will. They are just awesome.
Thank you so much. And thanks for sharing. And then we'll see you guys next time.
You've been listening to the Michigan Real Estate Investor Network podcast. Just call it the network. To subscribe to the show, go to www.michiganreinetwork.com, where you can have the show sent right to your inbox. Subscribe on iTunes or your favorite podcast app. If you'd like to be on a future show, there's a link on the site to submit your info. The network is 100% focused on the Michigan real estate investing community. Whether you are brand new or a grizzled vet, we want you to be a part and share the love.